All right, everybody, I'm going to walk through the smokestack here as far as I'm doing a screencast. As far as how to draw it, I'll cover this again in class, but I'll post this screen share out for everybody to see. So first thing we need to do is open up a new IPT. This, if you will, I'm working from the remote desktop, so it's going to look more or less the same as what you are. We're choosing a plane to create a sketch on. Here's the part. A couple of things. We're going to do this a different way than typical extrusions. We're going to use the revolve tool. So basically, in order to use the revolve tool, what we need is we need to sketch the area that is surrounded by these little crosshatch marks. So that area that's got to get drawn is kind of enclosed in where those crosshatch marks are. We're going to skip the whole until the very end, but that's basically the process that we're going to use. So, first things first is we can see that the bottom of this object has a 1/4 inch before there's any features. We also see that it's a 1/2 inch diameter hole, so that means this horizontal line and the vertical line are each 1/4 inch, 0.25 inches. So let's go ahead and get those knocked in here. All right, so that part was easy. It's going to get trickier, though, as we get into it. So we need to go vertically from here. We need to go vertically from the bottom 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches. But how far off of the center line do we go? Well, half of the 125. So if we come down here and we say half of 125, that is 0.625. So let's start with that. We'll go with that first. So let's just come on up here. Let's put a guideline in. Much longer than what we'll need. And we will come up that guideline. How far? How far we need to go? 1.5. So our guideline, let's make our guideline 1.5. So we'll grab our dimension tool. 1.5. Enter. Alrighty. So then we need to come over 0.625. 0.625. Enter. We'll just connect the dots here. There we go. And we've got that boxed in. So now we're ready to do the top part. So the top part can be a little bit tricky because now we need to go from here to here. So we need to go vertically 1/4 inch. Okay? And we need to come in to the center at a 15-degree angle. So let's do that first. Let's come up here and draw a vertical line. Let's make it 0.25 inches, 1/4 inch. I've got that number by subtracting this from this, and that gave me a 1/4 inch. So now our line, grab our line tool because we don't want to continue on. Actually, this might be a good time to clean up some things here. Let's delete some things out just so we don't get confused. All right. So now we need to come up, we need to come, oops, I'm not sure why that gave me an arc. Let's grab our line tool. I must have grabbed something weird there. So let's come up. I know it's going to be a little longer than what I need it to be. Let's plunk that in. We have our line, but it needs to be 15 degrees. So if I get my dimension tool and I go between here and here, and I can type in 1.5, enter. That doesn't look right, so let's back out. So it moved. Instead of moving the line that we wanted it to move, it moved our other line, which is all right. So we'll pull a dimension between here and here. Okay. Between here and here. And let's go 1.5. And it still moved out. All right. So I'm glad you're seeing this here because this is how you solve problems. So now what we need to do is we need to lock that point right there. So now let's try this one more time. click our dimension, 1 to 5, enter. There we go, that's what we're after. Alrighty, so now we're ready to finish boxing in, but let's clean it up a little bit first. Let's get rid of some of these extra dimensions that we no longer need. Oh, I guess we still need that one, so let's hang on to that line. And now we need to come over to here, and then finish boxing it in. Now we've got some trimming and some cleaning up to do, but our basic shape is there. Okay, so that looks pretty similar to this object, except for the hole in the inside, which we'll get to that in a second. So let's finish our sketch. All right, so now we're ready to use that new tool that I talked about a little bit ago. It's up here next to the extrude button. It's called Revolve. So you need a profile, just like you did for an extrude. You have to have something that's closed in. And you also need an axis. So we want this inner axis here. And there we go. The smokestack is rendered. Final step is to put that hole in the center. In order to do that, we need a new sketch. We're going to work on top. We need to project this circle onto the object. We'll finish our sketch. Now we're ready to apply our hole. Super easy to do. And to get the correct hole, we want a counter bore hole. You can see it changed some dimensions. If you have an angled, I think the angled is the standard, and the flat is the non-standard. So there we go with that. And let's talk about dimensions. This can get a little confusing. So there's 2 hole dimensions. So the first hole refers to the big hole. The big hole is 1.5 inches deep. So this hole right here is 1.5 inches deep. So that's the deep hole. And it is 0.375 in diameter. So we talk 1.5 inches deep and 0.375 in diameter. So we've just done that. The bigger of the 2 holes, which is the top hole, is 0.375 in diameter and 1.5 inches deep. So 375. I totally said that backwards. is 0.875 in diameter and 0.375 deep. Let's go back here. 375 deep, 875 diameter. We're good to go. And we've created that part. That part is now complete. Of course, we save it up, and we can call it our smokestack. I've already got it drawn and saved, but at any rate, that's how we're going to produce not only this one, but this one, and this one. I'll probably walk you through that one because there's a little more to that one than meets the eye at first. But anytime we are dealing with an object where you can see a sectioned view like that, that's how you're going to use the Revolve tool.